So I will tell you from a TikTok perspective. No, I hear this all the time. Like people say this to me all the time, but I will tell you from a creator's perspective why TikTok has been so helpful for me, because TikTok has had the time to see what all the other algorithms do, and what they're doing is suppressing stuff, right? Yeah. The thing that really makes TikTok way different than Instagram or anything else is they
allow visibility.
They allow visibility, but it's only to the people that they know are going to be your super fans. That's why people can go viral. Instagram doesn't do that. Instagram is like, oh, it suppresses everything.
Right. Yeah. And so they have the shadow ban for a purpose, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they do that purposely to monetize.
Wants to get you in front of your super fans.
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't give a about your super fans.
But that's why I like it. I like that it's competitive. I love that part,
They make you put all of the
no swearing on my podcast,
but they make you like work for it. Like, oh, you have to put all the right hashtags, and even if you do, they're going to suppress some of the. There are banned hashtags. Like if you put some hashtags, they'll completely. TikTok tries to get you in front of the people that are going to enjoy your content, which I appreciate. Because I like to enjoy content that I like. I don't want to have to search. I don't know what content I'm going to think is funny. I don't know what's trending. I don't know. And I don't want to search on Instagram.
That's what separates us. It's like, I don't, like, if I'm free, I will not go on my Instagram to look for or try to laugh or do anything on there.
And TikTok enjoys people engaging.
So TikTok is more like, you have to be interested.
So double clicking on that, actually, though, like thinking about it, right? Like a lot of what you guys said points to the power that a lot of these platforms have, right? So like, thinking about it and taking a step back and moving into the decentralized world, right? Now, like thinking about that, like how do you guys think about, tying yourselves to a career or in things like that where those entities have so much power over what it is that you guys are doing and like your own IP and things like that? Like, have you guys looked into new technologies and things like that to allow you guys to kind of reclaim some of that ownership? Like, how do you guys think about that, right? Because at the end of the day, TikTok is looking at you guys saying, you guys generated this much, ad revenue for us. I'm paying you X, Y, Z, right? Like, that's a dangerous world to live in, right? Like, giving those people...
even more dangerous.
Right? Shadow banning, like, people have their...
For me, it works because it stays competitive. And, like, if I feel like things are getting too easy or I call them basic, it gets boring for me. So in order for me, like, when I post a photo and it doesn't get, like, enough likes or whatever, I'll just go into my, documentary pad where, I have this huge collection of like data information. And that's why the whole blockchain thing became interesting to me. But I go back in there and say, okay, well, this algorithm didn't work. This time that Instagram actually tells you to post, like let's say it's 6 p.m. and it's on their app, and it tells you like this is a good time to post. So I just started creating my own algorithm structure of like, when do I post, or let me see if this works. So I'm more of like,
so you guys
in
like
the tech back,
you're trying to fight it back, right?
Yeah,
I'm
not. I'm not. I want to do things as easily as possible. So that's why I'm not going to say I'm against Instagram, but I am always trying to find ways to go off platform and do things on my own. Yeah. I created a membership site, cost me like $30,000 to create. I know it was.
You must be into the money.
It was.
Snapchat
helped.
Exactly.
Snapchat helped. And then I actually found Galaxy that actually helped me with. They have something that is very similar than what I was building, and I was going to build it. Midway, it's almost done.
So Spencer took your idea.
So you know what?
Took it, rinse, repeat.
Actually, now we're done.
That's our exit.
But just in general, I definitely do understand that platforms like that hold literally all the power. Yeah. Every month, there's a new algorithm change, and it's suppressing things, and it's doing this, and things that you knew you were supposed to do. Yeah. Like in the beginning, it was like 30 hashtags, right? And then it was like, no, well, these are banned hashtags. How the hell are you supposed to know what hashtags are banned? Yeah. Like, you have to search. Like, that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There are apps now.
Yeah, there's things out there that can help you.
If it takes 4 hours just to search for a that is, they have way too much power. And so I'm obviously not totally against Instagram, but I've felt like it's definitely better and more advantageous, especially if you're doing it for your career or your business, or to be able to make sure that when Instagram does go down, because we know it goes down and the world sets itself on fire, or when any of these things do happen, you do have a backup and you have more power versus letting them.
I think it's good to also have like you're a successful platform, like all platforms should be successful. Like that's why I have my Facebook is actually more lit than my Instagram, and I get a lot of I have a lot of followers.
Facebook?
Is what?
People still
That's
use
what
that?
I was thinking. Girl, let me follow you.
Well, a
Where's
fan
my
page.
phone?
Like, it's like a Facebook fan page. And so it's business, more like business.
have
Right,
those.
right.
I mean, I guess that's interesting. I mean, it's interesting because I think one, there's people now joining and wanting to be influencers, and now it's also the companies or the platforms themselves have way too much power. You know, obviously this guy is a man for putting power in the hands of the people, right? So like you as a content creator, right? Like, you know, how do you guys envision like, you know, that evolution? Like, what do you think it will take for people to start thinking about like, you know, owning their own IP, right? Like intellectual property and things like that, right? Because like that's a very important issue, right? Like at the end of the day, having to, you know, go into an algorithm battle. I don't want to fight Jack Dorsey every single day about why I should get engagement, right? So like, what are you guys doing, or like, what have you guys thought? Have you thought about blockchain? Like, have you guys thought about these things? Like, you know, how do you guys think about that?
I'm still in the process of learning because I have a lot of friends that are getting involved in all of that, and I'm just like, okay, how does this work? So I'm getting there, but I just feel like every day technology is changing. Like everything is changing to more digital, and I don't know. Social media is cool, but if you can start your own company, and at this point, we're learning from these platforms. Like every day, it's our business. But we're a walking business, really. So it's like, why not take advantage and start our own?
That's why I started the whole data collection. It's just like, people always tell me like, oh, you're trying to fight against them. I'm like, no, I'm trying to recreate the future. So if I can collect all this data and see what the problem is and solve it, then that's easy for me.
But the thing that's really hard about that, though, is once you solve it, they freaking change everything.
No, I mean, like,
solving
as your own. As your own,
right.
Because I worked in a startup which was built on blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about all the data you're creating is, in being a good friend of both myself and Solo, we can use that data to have a more influencer first.
I worked on an app which is extremely incredible, and it was built on blockchain. It still is. It's been in the process since 2018.
Cool.
And that's what that inspired me completely to be like, okay, you know what? I helped you build your AI, and I named it, and like taught it its learnings, and did like, you know, tagging, metadata tagging, and all this stuff. I was like, okay, so I'm teaching you something I'm just learning from all this data, and that's my goal. Like he said, like, how do you separate yourself? Like, my goal is to have, you know, my own NFT, my own entire IP, like my own everything as a brand. So it doesn't matter which platform I'm on, I'm still the owner to all my content.